This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. Antonio Cromartie is going to be joining me. Tyler Dunn, the former Packer reporter who broke the lid off of the dysfunction 6 months ago, will be joining us. Joy, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I went to a vineyard last night. Not going to get into the place I was at. I went to a vineyard last night.
Well, you're a wine guy, right? You
in downtown L.A.
Wine, but you own a wine store, too, right?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I don't, whatever.
Wine gives you snake dreams, right?
Because I can't drink red wine. It gives me snake dreams. I had a glass of red wine last night, and I got cobras attacking me for 8 hours in bed. It's the craziest. I don't even know what it is. There's something.
Apparently it's a thing, because the last time we talked about this, a lot of people were tweeting us that it happens to them.
I had a glass of red wine. I do it, 3 times a year. I'll drink a glass of red wine, and all night I'm sweating and being attacked by snakes.
Do you ever win?
Nope, not one time. Strangled to death in my own bed. It's horrible. I woke up this morning sweating. It's like, come on. Again? It's amazing. So there is a big difference, Joy, between star and superstar.
Right.
And I've seen people do this before. I want to tell you a little inside the rope story. So I used to work at a big sports company. Now I work at my favorite sports company. The old place used to always say this when they were hiring somebody. Well, she's smart. He's smart. Give him a show. And I used to always say, are they smart enough? Who gives a rip? Are they good on television? I got friends who are bad on television. They're smart. We're in the TV business. Are you good on television? Okay? It's the same thing with stars and superstars in sports. You can't explain it. Sometimes it just is. Anthony Davis is a star. Zion is going to be a superstar. How do I know? He's already got his own shoe. Nike's going to give him his own shoe. He's played 9 minutes in the NBA Summer League. He'll get his own shoe. Anthony Davis, 7 years in the league. No signature shoe. Zion, and we called this a year ago, is a superstar. High energy. Very charismatic. Flashy game. Full of power and intensity and dunk. Anthony Davis is chill and sleepy and not charismatic. His nickname is Unibrow, and his game is full of skill, but not that flashy and fun. 7 years, no shoe deal. Zion, 9 minutes in. Nike's giving him a shoe deal. They're thinking of calling it Air Zion. I would call it Amazion. But that's cheesy. That's why I don't work at Nike. This happens all the time. Baseball fans do this. Mike Trout is the best. Mike Trout's a star. A-Rod was a superstar. Bryce Harper feels more like a superstar. Mike Trout's a really great baseball player. Mickey Mantle, by the way, today would be a superstar. One of the reasons, Mickey Mantle had issues. Mickey Mantle was flawed. Mickey Mantle was imperfect. Joe DiMaggio would be a star. There is a difference. Don Mattingly, baseball star. A-Rod, American iconic superstar. And, this is David Beckham in soccer. David Beckham was never in the argument as a top soccer player in the world. He married a Spice Girl. He was absurdly good looking. He did underwear ads. They made a movie about him. He had a smile, a flair, a look. David Beckham is a superstar. Messi is a far greater soccer player. And I'm not saying Messi's not a superstar, but Beckham was the biggest soccer star in the world. Wasn't the best player. LeBron's a superstar. Kawhi's a star. And it's not about your game. Your game has to fundamentally be solid, all-star level. But, that's the difference. There's a lot of really talented actors. Leonardo DiCaprio is a superstar. Ed Norton, Don Cheadle are stars. And they're both great, and they're amazing actors. It's not always just talent. It's not always your resume. It's charisma. There's a Kardashian quality. When you watch the Kardashians, I used to, they were just beautiful. They just looked good on television. Their hair was perfect. Their skin was perfect. They were dynamic. That's Zion. And, the people doubting Zion, Ja Morant will never be a superstar. Ja Morant, I think, will be a star. And here's the thing I know about superstars. You identify it real early. It's not like you get the right agent and you get the right, no. It's there. It's innate. Good God. Kobe, you could see it coming for 2 years. He just needed to get older. He just needed to get on the floor. Shaq in college. Christian Laettner was a star in college. Shaq, first year in the NBA, was a superstar. And Zion's already here. All right, so I watched the HBO Hard Knocks. The Raiders, and they selected it. I wish they would have put more John Gruden in, to be honest with you. They could have had more Gruden. I don't really care about rookie safeties. Derek Carr and Gruden are such opposite personalities. It's really different. I mean, Derek Carr is one way and Gruden's the other, and they're kind of opposites. I also think John Gruden is more player-friendly than people think. He's kind of a barker. But I don't think in today's NFL I don't think with sports today you can, debase kids and, you got to talk to them. You got to communicate to them. You got to treat them like human beings, not human doings. And so there are little elements that I noticed. But the one thing I just can't, that just keeps striking me with this when I watched it last night. You can romanticize the past. Don't be beholden to it. I don't think I've ever seen an organization that likes to talk about their history more than the Oakland Raiders. The alumni dinners, the seven-man sled, the John Gruden. We're going back to the way John Madden coached, silver and black, and once a Raider, always a Raider. Listen, they have a really good history, but it's not as good as the Steelers. It's not as good as the 49ers. It's not as good as the Packers. It's not currently close to the Patriots. It's a good history back in the 80s. But when I watch Hard Knocks, I mean, I've never seen an organization. They just look in the rear view mirror constantly. These players don't care. They weren't around in 1980. I mean, the truth is some of these guys weren't born in 1983. Like, who gives a rip? And the Raiders are just, everything's about the silver and black, commitment to excellence, once a Raider, always a Raider, alumni dinners, you go to the facilities, there's pictures of old Raiders, and then the one with Charles Woodson. It's like, the NFL is all about innovation. I said this 10 years ago on the air. Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, they were the first two guys in the NFL. And by the way, in my opinion, the best two coaches currently in the NFL. They were the first two guys about 10 years ago that on 3rd and 3 decided that was a passing down. They were ahead of the curve. Andy Reid on 3rd and 3 was a passing down. Belichick, 3rd and 3. I'm going to find a tight end. They were ahead of the curve. And they both continue. Now, Belichick's got the rings, Andy doesn't, but they both continue to be innovators. Sean McVay, innovator. The coaches that don't last in this sport, Mike Ditka at the end feels outdated. Marvin Lewis feels a little bit outdated. The Raiders, good Lord, in a world of innovation, it is once a Raider, always a Raider. Seven-man sled, alumni dinners. It's like, John, Blue Bonnet Bowl references. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Forge ahead. Look through the windshield. I think that romanticizing stuff, Gruden speaks in TV cliches. I mean, he does. I mean, when you watch that show, it's like they're a 75% football team, a 25% television show. I mean, that kid for Last Chance U, I think he was put on the roster because he'd be good on a TV show. Richie Incognito would be good on a TV show. They're seeking relevance. They got to sell season tickets in Las Vegas. Vegas got a hockey team ahead of the NFL team. They're concerned about being able to sell 40,000 season tickets, selling suites, because Vegas isn't a huge city, and they have a hockey team that's red hot, and they've sold season tickets, and they've sold the suites, so they want to sell season tickets, and the NFL's really good on TV, and hockey is better in person. And the NFL is really good on TV, and Vegas can be really hot in September, like 95 degrees. So they got to sell tickets, and they're not selling them in Oakland. They tarp off the upper deck, and they're concerned about selling them in Vegas. So I get it. They're seeking relevance. The TV show, I get it. But I am over romanticizing the Raiders' past. It's not as good as Pittsburgh. It's not as good as the 49ers. It's not as good as Green Bay's. And they don't talk about it all the time. I mean, Pittsburgh, let's be honest about Pittsburgh. It was the Steel City. They've been one of the flashiest, most innovative offenses, deep ball, big talkers, wide receiver stars. Pittsburgh's always evolving. I mean, Green Bay, last couple of years has been like, we got to get young on defense. We got to change coaches. We got to get more progressive. I don't know. The Raiders feel like, you know what they feel like? The opposite of the LA Rams. The LA Rams came from St. Louis and literally said, none of our history matters. we didn't play in St. Louis. That's a rumor. St. Louis, we've never been to St. Louis. The Rams are like, they don't even acknowledge St. Louis existed. It's like, we're in L.A. They acted like an expansion franchise. The first year they had Jeff Fisher. Then it was like, okay, we are literally getting rid of everybody not named Aaron Donald that was part of St. Louis. Raiders are the opposite. Like, guys, you're moving to Vegas, new city, new team. Get a new offense. Get a new cliche. Get a new 5-man sled. Too much rearview mirror stuff for me. All right, Antonio Cromartie's coming up. He may agree or disagree. We'll see. You check things all the time, like your email or your social media. But Discover asks, what about checking something as important as your credit score? Discover makes it quick and easy with their credit scorecard. Free for everybody, even if you are not a customer. See your FICA credit score and other important credit information. And once you know the score, check to see if your current credit score is the best fit for you. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.